Good evening, Chicago, and welcome to this week's StreetWise Street Scene. My name is Greg Pritchett. I'm the Director of Distribution for StreetWise Organization. And once again, I want to thank CAN TV for giving us the opportunity every Friday to come into your household and bring about the awareness of the StreetWise Organization and what we do and what we have to offer you, Chicago. I want to start off by saying happy holiday to everybody, and a special shout out to my Chatham family out there on the South Side. Big ups to everybody out there. Merry Christmas, everybody, and happy holidays. And I still get that question no matter where I go. Sometimes I get the question, well, what is StreetWise? And I'm going to keep giving them the same answer, because what we do at StreetWise is we help men and women who are homeless or at risk of being homeless. We empower them through employment to help them become self-sufficient. Everyone's at risk of being homeless. It only takes 1 second and the bottom can drop off from underneath us. But you know what? A lot of times we do get wrapped up in our daily lives and the hustle and bustle of the daily grind. And a lot of times we take for granted a lot of things God has blessed us with. You know, at one point of our life, we'll feel like the house will always be there, the car will always be there, the money will always be there, mom and dad will always be there. And at that very moment while we're feeling so grandiose about ourselves, we may see someone who may be struggling, someone who may be down and out, or someone who may be homeless. And somewhere inside as we say to ourselves, or we said to ourselves, that can never happen to me. But it can happen to anyone. It doesn't discriminate. Clear examples on ways people can become homeless: hurricanes, floods, fires, drug abuse, loss of jobs, bad economy, health issues, mentally or physically. These are ways people can become homeless. So I like to say StreetWise is for everyone. We have a lot of formerly homeless men and women who sell StreetWise. Keyword is formerly. How did they become formerly homeless? They use StreetWise as a resource to get out of that situation. We also have vendors who sell StreetWise who have never been homeless a day in their life. Why do they sell StreetWise? I always say so they can keep their place. We know bills have to be paid. We have vendors who sell StreetWise who are working on getting their GED. We have vendors who have part-time jobs outside of StreetWise. That number's getting low, but we still have them, and they sell StreetWise for extra income. And we also have vendors who are in college who sell our magazine. Now, StreetWise is more than a magazine. I always like to say that there are 3 areas that a person can better themselves at StreetWise. 1, expanding your pockets with the magazines as far as working in like a job. 2, expanding our minds in a work empowerment center. What we have for our vendors in a work empowerment center is free usage of our computers. We do one-on-one tutoring as far as introduction to computers. We have a new volunteer that works with us, Patrick, who are helping our vendors with resumes, doing job search. Our goal is not to keep vendors for the rest of their life. If they're able to do other jobs, we want to help them build up a resume, get them the training they need, and help them use StreetWise as a stepping stone. All of that takes place in our work empowerment center. We have a new social worker, Romero, who is there to help our vendors with housing, recovery, education needs, whatever they need to develop as far as using StreetWise as a stepping stone. If you'd like to be a part of an organization, you know, StreetWise is a job, and it's the holidays out there right now. A lot of people are shopping and being with their families. If you like to be a part of an organization, this is what I would like for you to do. You know, come down to our organization Mondays and Thursdays. We talk about Chicago goes to work, so can you. Become a StreetWise vendor. We'll help you get started. Your first 15 magazines are free. We'll start you off with $30 worth of magazines free. What are the benefits? Well, you'll be able to work for yourself, work at your own pace, start your own hours. Everyone starts immediately. Everyone qualifies. There's no exceptions. Orientation is held every Monday and Thursday at our new location in Uptown, 4554 North Broadway. We're in Suite 350. We have the whole south end of the 3rd floor at our new facility. I want you to come check us out, Chicago. You know, every week, though, on the streets, we have vendors throughout the Chicagoland areas. And every week, Wednesdays at 7 a.m., our vendors have something new to sell. They have something new to promote. They have something new to offer their customers. Every week, there's a new StreetWise edition on the streets. But what we do at our organization is we help people use it as a stepping stone, and we talk about a lot of different things. One of the things we talk about is being aware of our health. You know, a lot of times we put that off and we don't really pay attention to our health. So every Friday We at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. we have our medical truck that's out in front of our location in Uptown at 4554. It's just not for Streetwise vendors. It's for you, Chicago. If you want to get checked up, come check out the medical truck in front of our facility, 4554 North Broadway. That's between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. I want to thank my guest last week, Troy Dixonell, who works with us on our quality assurance team. These are the men and women who are like, you know, my eyes and ears around the city. They do security work. They help us with recruitment. They help us with vendor training. And Troy Dixonell is my captain in Hyde Park. Thanks for being on the show last week, Troy. And we're looking forward to seeing you soon. Want to thank for everyone who called in last week. Now, in Chicago, this is a live and call-in show. If you have any questions or comments about Streetwise or our guests that we're going to have a little bit later, give us a call at 312-738-1060, 312-738-1060. Now, like I said, every week we have a new edition that hits the streets. And this week, justice for victims of prostitution. Justice for victims of prostitution. That's what's on the streets right now. Very sensitive situation, a very sensitive topic. But, you know, Streetwise, we're about cutting edge. So get that near the new edition of the Streetwise edition and check this out. Now, next week, Catholic Charities. We're talking about, that's one of our Christmas editions. We're real festive. We're talking about Catholic Charities. And also the largest single provider of human services in Illinois serves 1 in 3 Chicagoans. Hey, very good statistics. So that's what we got coming out next week, Chicago. Now, every week, Chicago, we like to highlight our vendors, right? But we also want to highlight you, Chicago. And we notice that a lot of our vendors have customers, customers that help support their business on a weekly basis. If it wasn't for the customers, hey, a lot of the vendors said they wouldn't be able to do as well as they do. The customers are the bread and butter. So, Chicago, we thank you for supporting our vendors and the ones who help, you know, try to help themselves. You're definitely making it possible. We want you to send your pictures of you and your favorite vendor. We want you to send those pictures to B. Langmeyer at StreetWise.org. B. Langmeyer at StreetWise.org. But this week we got Rourke Moody, his poetry. One of our poets on the vendor force. He has the poem Glory. You can chase glory, but you cannot catch glory. Glory must catch you. Rourke Moody is very creative. We use him in this week's edition. But Chicago, we want you to send in your photos, okay, of you and your favorite vendor. Once again, send that to that address, B. Langmeyer at StreetWise.org. Well, we get the question all the time. You know, do you guys get the vendors' magazines and they go out and sell the magazines? They bring the money back to Streetwise? No. We help them get started. We help them get their business started. Our vendors are what we call businessmen and women and entrepreneurs. At the initial $30 worth of magazines we give them free, they're responsible for keeping the business going. Okay, that means they invest their money into a product and they sell the product. And when they make a profit, in my eyes, you consider the businessman, a businesswoman, and an entrepreneur. And that's what I consider all our Streetwise vendors, 170 vendors strong out there in the Chicagoland area. Where the money goes? Well, vendors buy the Streetwise for 90 cents and it sells for $2. That means the profit of $1.10 goes directly to that licensed vendor. We have that information in every edition of Streetwise. So we just want you to know that, Chicago, that the men and women you see out there on those corners working through all the kind of weather that we have, whether it's snowing, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, they are businessmen and women entrepreneurs. Support a Streetwise vendor near you. But only support the one that has a Streetwise badge, a legit Streetwise badge. Look for the badge. This is a legit Streetwise badge. It will have our logo on it, the badge number, the vendor's picture, his position, his name, and the expiration date. Chicago, if they don't have a badge, don't buy the magazine from them. In fact, tell them to come down to Streetwise and come to orientation and do it the right way. You know, back in the early days of the Streetwise in the 90s, a lot of the people who were making it bad for the real vendors were not legal vendors. We had to address that problem. Chicago, you helped us. Chicago Police Department helped us. And now we don't really have a problem. But you still have people who tend to try to sell Streetwise illegally. If they do not have a badge, Tell them to come down Streetwise and do it the right way. Chicago, every week in our magazine, we highlight a different vendor. It's about our vendors and giving them a platform. And this week, we are highlighting in our vendor profile, vendor rep to our board of directors, Percy Smith. Percy stated, I love Streetwise, and whatever I can do to help, I will, because I want this organization to be forever. And I'm definitely with Percy. And Chicago, if you want to be it forever, hey, Chicago has been good to a lot of people, but we can't do it without you, Chicago. I want it to be forever, and I'm sure you do. Chicago, Streetwise gives men and women job opportunities who might not get a chance. You know, maybe the lack of education, physical or mental disability, or maybe because they've lost their jobs. You know, today people are losing their jobs, people are getting laid off, but I'm very proud to be a part of an organization that's putting people to work. And that's what we do at Streetwise. We put people to work, and if you're looking for a job, that's why I'm here right now, to bring the information on how you can empower yourself through employment. Chicago goes to work, so can you. Become a Streetwise vendor. You know, we have our orientations on Mondays and Thursdays. If you're looking for a job, come on down to our new facility, 4554 North Broadway, Suite 350. We are in Uptown Chicago. Streetwise is definitely in Uptown. So if you want like a job, come on down to Streetwise. I want to thank Brittany Langmeyer for coming here. She's been coming in to help us promote the magazine and share with us, you know, what editorial is doing. You guys do a wonderful job. I mean, every week, it's not easy to have a product come out that like that you all do every week. So, you know, let our viewers know what they can expect in this week's Streetwise.
Sure. Well, as you mentioned before, we are doing a feature story written by one of our interns, editorial intern Angela Wells from Loyola University. So I want to thank Angela for writing this beautiful story, and it is called Seeking Justice for Prostitution Victims. And what this story is about is it's showing you how a stereotype you may have upheld about women who engage in prostitution may be false. Many of these girls and women have been through hell and back, engaging in acts of domestic violence. You know, they've been sexually assaulted, or they have experienced incest, and a lot of them experience post-traumatic stress disorder. So what this story explores is the Wings Project. And what the Wings Project is they're women in need of gender-specific services. And this organization is trying to change court proceedings and help these women not be stigmatized, and help them avoid unlawful charges.
Okay, and what else do we have in the magazine?
Well, we have a lot, actually. We have a story written by our editor-in-chief, Suzanne Haney. It's called ROM. We didn't go backward on homelessness in the recession. And what's amazing about this is in Obama's stimulus plan, Chicago actually got $34 million, and we've used that to maintain 3,600 households from becoming homeless in this new stimulus package. So I think that's fantastic. That's a great story. There's all sorts of wonderful statistics to show you how Chicago is actually doing very well on the homelessness front and helping people. We have our entertainment section. We have a wonderful events calendar for you, a lot of wonderful holiday events.
Okay.
My personal favorite is the Christmas sing-along, and so you can go to this movie theater, and it's a double feature. The movies that they'll be showing are White Christmas and It's a Wonderful Life, and Santa will be there, and they'll have live organ accompaniment, and you can sing Christmas carols, and it's just very seasonal, very festive, and very fun.
So they're showcasing a lot of the classics, huh?
Absolutely. All right. It's all about the classics this season. Right. So. And lastly, we have a wonderful feature written by Streetwise editorial intern Kim Cummins, who is also from Loyola University. And she just did a preview about the Field Museum's new exhibit called Restoring Earth, which is all about promoting conservation all throughout the world. So check it out.
Hey, you mentioned about interns. If someone would like to be an intern with our organization, because we do depend on volunteers, we depend on interns to keep the organization flowing, how can they get involved with our organization if they want to intern?
Well, we have all sorts of intern opportunities for you if you're interested. We have editorial internships where you'll be doing a lot of writing. We also have a design internship where you'll be working with me primarily, and we'll help you can design pages in the magazine. And it's wonderful to get these clips. What's great about a Streetwise internship is that you do a lot of hands-on work. You will get a lot of clips, and you will be learning immediately, right when you walk in the door. So it's a wonderful learning experience. And if you want to get in contact with us, you can get in contact with me, Brittany Langmeyer, and you can email me at blangmeyer, that's BLANGMEYER, at streetwise.org.
All right, thanks, Brittany, for coming this week.
Well,
and
thank you,
we're going to
Greg.
have you not next week, but the week after that, and come to give us some information because it's going to be close to our last
Great.
show.
I'd love
It's been
to.
a blast, and we'll see you when we get back then, huh?
Thank you.
All right, Chicago, we got the information about our orientation on the screen right now. We're giving out a job opportunity. That's what it's about. It's about Chicago goes to work, and so can you. Orientation is Monday and Thursdays at our facility, 4554 North Broadway. If you'd like to have a job, come down and check out our organization. StreetWise is more than a magazine. We have food from the time we open, from the time we close. For our vendors, it kind of like helps them save money, but it keeps them full and keeps them energized and keeps them ready to work. We have a computer room, a computer facility, which our vendors can use from the time we open to the time we close. We have full-time social worker and case management. Come down to StreetWise, 4554 North Broadway. If you like to be a part of our organization, we want you to be a part of it too. My next guest is a vendor. He is a veteran, former employee of Providence Hospital. He works very closely and very active with the programs at the VA hospital. He's a StreetWise vendor, one of our most consistent vendors. I want to welcome back to the show, StreetWise vendor Greg Scott. Welcome to StreetWise Street Scene, man.
Thank you, Greg.
Finally got you back here, my brother. Finally got you back on the show. You know, you've been so busy, and you stay busy working on like a job and staying busy doing a lot of the different activities that you do. But it's vendors like yourself that I like to bring onto the show to showcase and highlight to Chicago what type of vendor force do we have. And these are men and women that use StreetWise as a stepping stone. And I say that you're one of those type of people. How did you first get involved with StreetWise, man?
Well, I first got involved. Well, actually, I was in a nursing home, and another nurse or someone told me about it because another patient had been selling StreetWise before he got out, and that's actually how I got my start in recovery. I actually sobered up and in a nursing home, and I've been clean and sober now going on 7 years, and from the nursing home, I started, I got out, started selling StreetWise.
Now, we talked about, being a part of the VA and the programs and that they have at the VA. Now, one of the problems that I feel today is the homeless situation among our veterans. Do you see a lot of veterans that are at the VA that are homeless?
Absolutely, and I don't think it's right. I think the government can do more to help the veterans that are homeless, as well as, we got our troops that's coming home. We need to open up the door for them and welcome them with open arms and thank them for their service. And we need to keep our veterans, give them first priority as far as jobs and more opportunities to do something about this homelessness. And that would really, so the government could step up a little more, do a little more for vets, and take, some of that pressure off the veterans, which we so deserve from going to serve the country.
Because, right now, like you said, thousands and thousands of men and women are about to come home from overseas.
Yes.
And, putting them in a situation where they can be able to progress for themselves and their family is really important. There should not be not one person who helps fight for our country, put their life on the line, and should be living on the streets right now.
Absolutely, I agree with it. And we got vets that's coming home with, they're going to have a ton of issues, and we need the government there to help them vets and as well as help these vets at home. It's no reason for veterans to be homeless and to have no shelter and absolutely no job. These vets coming home, they have families to support and whatnot, and they need all the help they can get. So for anybody, open up your arms, open up the employment and job opportunities for the vets, because they're coming home and they're going to need the help.
Now, you made the transition. In fact, you've overcome so much adversity in your life. I don't know where to begin. But making that transition when you came home, what was that experience like?
It was. I came home with some issues, because it was very hard. So I was, I was in and out of VA a lot, and I had problems with, I had to learn to adjust. because when you come home from the service, you're gonna have issues, and that's gonna have to be addressed. So it wasn't easy. That's why we need the government there to keep these programs and everything else, because they're so essential to vets. They come home. The vets will come. They definitely gonna be coming home with PTS.
Now, what is PTS?
That's PTSD, post-traumatic, and it's the issue that's dramatic events for veterans, and that's from war, anything that's dramatic that has happened to you.
So the programs at the VA, what would you suggest to someone who is struggling when they come home? How would they get involved with the VA? Just come down there, or look up the website, or if a family member, exactly, for those who is coming back, they have family members. What advice would you give to someone who is struggling when they come home to make that transition?
Well, for one, when you come home, go speaking of the veterans, they come home, the Veterans Administration, the VA is there for them. They actually got the set up because they know these troops are coming home, and when they come home with the problems, to take them to the VA, and once you take them there, they know what to do. They can get them the help that they need and whatnot. That's the first thing, to get them there, to get the help. Okay. And that's the step. If you got a vet that's coming home, speaking of the family member, the first thing you should do is get them to the VA hospital.
There's a lot of other organizations that do help veterans. Inner Voice. Well, I work very closely with Inner Voice, and they help veterans as far as jobs. They help them with housing, and they definitely help them with recovery. One of the organizations on the south side that helps with housing is St. Leo over in Inglewood. You go on that block, and that block you forget you're in Inglewood because it's so beautiful over there, and it's very, very clean, and it's very, very structured. They have a private park, a Eternal Flame. So there are different organizations that are trying to help our veterans. Now, as far as you're concerned, in the transition that you made, your recovery is very important.
Yes.
And what are some of the things that you do to keep you busy in between selling Streetwise? Because you work Streetwise, you work it like a job.
Yes.
And you have your regular customers.
Yes, I have a good base one-on-one with my customers. And first of all, I like to thank my customers for all their support and whatnot. I look forward to Streetwise is just like a job, like any other job. I enjoy getting up, going to work, having one-on-ones, and saying good morning to my customers. That's my support base. And I know 80% of them on a first name basis. I've been doing this job now for almost about 6 years, and it's great. Anyone that like Greg mentioned, if you're looking for hand up rather than not a hand out, just a start, then Streetwise is the place. It's like any other job. And we it has services there. Anything. It's housing, everything.
So the people that support you and support your business, I've seen you grow through the years. When you first started, it was a little hard to get adjusted.
Yes.
But being consistent, giving you something to do, plus the recovery and your recovery helped you stay strong. Some of the things you do to keep busy, you work out a lot, right?
Right. I work out. It's the wellness program at the VA. Good, very good. And working out is a good a big part of my program. It's good for your body, your mind, and it just fit in right. And
a lot of people, some of the stereotypes say, all vendors are homeless, which is not true. We have a lot of vendors who are formerly homeless, and they use Streetwise as a resource to get out of that situation like you. You have your own place.
Right. Speaking of that, yes. When I was in the nursing home, I used it Streetwise to help get me out there when I first started off. And speaking of this gentleman right here helped me, as far as when I got my first little room, to get me started before I have the apartment that I have now. So you can use Streetwise as a good start to help you, and that helped me actually get out of the nursing home. I was able to afford to get my own by selling Streetwise So I was able to make that transition from the nursing home to at least a hotel room. It was a start, and from there I got my own apartment.
And now you have your own apartment, and now you are striving, and you are self-sufficient. You depend on yourself, and whether you succeed or if you fail, it's up to you. And so far, you are winning it. You're doing it. Yeah. I'm proud of you, man. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you.
All right, I wanted to bring you on so Chicago can meet you and see some of the vendors that we have in our organization that is used StreetWise as a stepping stone. We're going to keep on moving on, and we're going to keep on moving strong. Hey, Chicago, every Friday, 6 o'clock, we're going to be here until the year is over, and then New Year's, we'll probably see you in the spring. But until the next time, which is next week, stay focused, keep it real, stay streetwise. Peace out, Chicago.